welcome. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful tools in database design, Entity Relationship Modeling, or ER modeling. By the time this presentation ends, you'll be able to look at any real-world system, a hospital, a university, a streaming platform, and sketch out its complete database blueprint from scratch. We cover entities, attributes, relationships, cardinality, and then map the whole thing into actual relational tables. Let's get into it. Before we write a single line of SQL, before we think about tables, rows, or any specific database software, we need a conceptual model. Think of it as an architect's blueprint. A blueprint doesn't tell you which brand of cement to use. It describes the structure. A conceptual model is completely independent of hardware, software, the DBMS you choose, and critically, it's also independent of tables and SQL. That last part is what separates a conceptual model from a logical one. It serves three key goals. 1. Capture business rules accurately. What data exists? What constraints apply? What relationships are critical? 2. Communicate clearly with non-technical stakeholders. No SQL required to read an ER diagram. 3. Remain stable over time, even as the technology underneath changes. The tool we use to draw a conceptual model is the Entity Relationship Diagram, the ERD. First building block. What is an entity? An entity is a real-world object or concept with independent existence. It's something we need to store information about. Example: student, course, book, author, order, product. Notice each of those is a thing, a noun that exists in your domain. In a chain ER diagram, entities are drawn as rectangles. Simple, clean. A box with the entity name inside. Around that rectangle, you see ovals connected by lines. Those are the attributes, the properties that describe the entity. A few notation rules to remember: entity names are always singular nouns. Student, not students. Each entity must be unique within the diagram, and every entity needs at least one attribute. Not all attributes are the same. There are 4 types you need to know. First, simple attributes. These are atomic values you cannot break down further. Student ID, age, gender. One value, stored directly, drawn as a single oval, is second. Composite attributes. These can be subdivided into meaningful subparts. A name attribute might split into first name, last name, and middle name. In the diagram, the parent oval has smaller sub-attribute ovals branching off it. The TRJ, multi-valued attributes. These can hold more than one value per entity instance. Phone numbers are the classic example. A student might have 2 or 3. We use a double oval border to signal multi-valued. Fourth, derived attributes. These are values you can calculate from data already stored. Age can be derived from date of birth. Total orders can be derived from the orders table. Derived attributes get a dashed over. Because they're not physically stored, they're computed on demand. Here's a question: if I store 10,000 students in a database, how does the system know which record belongs to which student? The answer is a key attribute, an attribute that uniquely identifies every single instance of an entity. In an ER diagram, key attributes are shown with an underline on their oval. Student ID uniquely identifies a student. Course code uniquely identifies a course. ISBN uniquely identifies a book. Notice the table on screen. It shows good key choices versus ones to a void. Course name is not a good key because 2 different courses could share the same name. Title alone doesn't work for books either. Many editions share the same title. One important design principle: avoid government-issued IDs like social security numbers as primary keys. Modern database design prefers purpose-built identifiers like student ID or employee ID for both privacy protection and portability. Entities don't exist in isolation. They connect to each other. and those connections are called relationships. Relationships are always named with verbs because they describe an action or association between entities. A student enrolls in a course. A customer places an order. A person has a passport. In Chen notation, relationships are drawn as diamonds, a four-sided shape connecting two entity rectangles with lines. Look at the diagram. The student rectangle on the left, the diamond in the middle, labeled enrolls in, and the course's rectangle on the right. The numbers M and N on the connecting lines tell us the cardinality, how many of each entity can participate. And a quick note on participation. If a single line connects the entity to the diamond, participation is parterre, meaning some instances may not participate. A double line means total participation. Every instance must participate. There are three cardinality types you absolutely must know. One-to-one. Each entity on the left relates to exactly one entity on the right, and vice versa. A person holds exactly one passport. That passport belongs to exactly one person. In SQL, you handle this with a foreign key on either side, or you merge both into one table. One to mommy. One entity on the left connects to money on the right. A customer can place many orders, but each order belongs to exactly one customer. In SQL, the foreign key lives on the many side, in this case on the orders table. Many to many. Entities on both sides can connect to many instances on the other side. A student can enroll in many courses, and each course can have many students. This one cannot be handled with a simple foreign key. It requires a junction table, also called a bridge table or relationship table. We'll build one in detail shortly. This slide is your complete Chen notation reference. Let's walk through every symbol. Entity, a plain rectangle. Strong entity, independent existence. WEA, entity, a double-bordered rectangle. It depends on a parent entity and has no primary key of its own. Simple attribute, a single oval. Atomic value, cal attribute. Underlined text inside the oval. Uniquely identifies each entity instance. Multi-value Derived attribute. Double border oval holds more than one value. Derived attribute, dashed oval. Computed, not stored. Computed, not stored. Computed attribute, an oval that branches into sub-attribute ovals. Relationship, a diamond shape labeled with a verb. Identifying relationship, a double border diamond connecting a weak entity to its owner. Participating line means partial participation. Double line means partial participation. Double line means total mandatory participation. Let's go deeper on participation, something many introductory courses skip over. Total participation means every instance of an entity must participate in the relationship, no exceptions, shown with a double line in Chen notation. In SQL, this maps to a not null constraint on the foreign key column. Partial participation means participation is optional. Some instances may not be in the relationship at all. Single line. In SQL, the foreign key column allows not. Now, here's the precision upgrade. When we label cardinality as 1 or n, we're only describing the maximum. There's also a minimum. The notation 0, 1, written in parentheses, means at minimum 0, at maximum 1, optional. 1, 1 means exact key 1. Mandatory. 0, n means optional but can have many. 1, n means optional but can have many. 1, n means must have at least one and can have many. This notation lets you encode whether a relationship is optional or mandatory directly in the diagram, and that precision pays off when you write validation logic. We now have everything we need to transform an ER diagram into a working SQL schema. 3 rules cover every case. Rule 1. Every strong entity becomes its own table. The entity name becomes the table name. Each simple attribute becomes a column. The key attribute becomes the primary key. That's it. Clean and direct. Rule 2 for one-to-one and one-to-many relationships, add a 4IGN key column to the table on the many side or either side. For a one-to-one, no new table is needed. The relationship lives in that single column. Rule 3. Many-to-many relationships cannot be stored with just a foreign key on one side. You must create a new table called a Junction table or a bridge table. This junction table contains the primary keys of both entities as foreign key columns. Together, those two foreign keys form a composite primary key. 3 rules. Every ER diagram you'll ever encounter maps through one or more of these. Let's build a junction table together from scratch. Look at the ER diagram on screen. Student and course connected by EN roles EN. Many-to-many. The double lines show that both sides require total participation. Step 1. Student becomes the student's table with columns student ID, name, major, and GPA. Course becomes the course's table with course ID, title, credits, and department. Step 2. Because the relationship is many-to-many, we cannot put a single foreign key on either table. So we create a third table, the enrollment junction table. The enrollment table contains 2 columns, stud ID, which is a foreign key pointing to students, and case ID, a foreign key pointing to courses. 2 other. These 2 columns form the composite primary key. Look at the sample data on screen. The rows DASN1, CS11 means student SSSA role is enrolled in course CS11. SA01 also appears with Math 201. SA01 also appears with CS11. Each combination is unique. That's the composite key working exactly as designed. Here's an advanced concept worth knowing. WEH entities. A mis-int-tong entity has its own primary key and can exist completely independently. Every entity we've worked with so far has been strong. A WEFAE entity has no primary key of its own. It depends entirely on a parent entity, called the owner, for its identity. Without the owner, the weak entity cannot meaningfully exist. Classic example, a dependent in an HR system. Someone listed on an employee's benefits record. Without the employee, that dependent record has no meaning and no independent identity. In Chen notation, weak entities get a double rectangle border. Their connecting relationship diamond also gets a double border. This is called an identifying relationship. A weak entity does have a partial key, sometimes called a discriminator, that, combined with the owner's primary key, uniquely identifies each instance. Let's bring it all together with a complete real-world example. A university database system. Look at the ERD on the left. We have 4 entities, student in blue, course in teal, professor in orange, and department in gold. Student connects to course via the enrollers in diamond. That's a money-to-mommy relationship, M and N on the lines. This will need a junction table. Peer officer connects to course via teaches, that's one-to-many. One professor can teach many courses, but each course has exactly one assigned professor. Professor connects to department via balloon stores one-to-one. One professor belongs to one department. Now look at the right panel. The relational schema. Every entity becomes a table. The enrollment junction table resolves the many-to-many. Foreign keys on courses and professors link back to their related entities. Notice the legend at the bottom. Rectangles for entities, diamonds for relationships, single ovals for attributes, underlined ovals for key attributes, double ovals for multi-valued, and dashed ovals for derived. Let's bring it all home. 1. Conceptual models are blueprints, independent of hardware, DBMS, SQL, and tables. 3 goals. Capture business rules, communicate clearly, remain stable. 2. Entities are reckonless, real-world objects, named as singular nouns, each needing at least one attribute. 3. 4 attribute types, simple for atomic values, composite for subparts, multi-valued with a double oval, derived with a dashed oval. Key attributes are underlined. F4, relationships are diamonds, labeled with 5 burrs. 3 cardinality types, 1 to 1, 1 to many, many to many. Participation is total with a double line, partial with a single line. 5V, 3 mapping rules transform every ER diagram into SQL. Entities become tables. 1 to 1 and 1 to many get foreign keys. Many to many gets a junction table with a composite primary key. SIX, advanced concepts. Weak entities use double rectangles and depend on an owner. Min-max notation like 0,1 and 1,n and 1,n encodes mandatory versus optional participation precisely. Master the ER diagram, and you master the first step of great database design. Thank you.